Yeah, I honestly think virtue signaling needs to go extinct. So, what's the reason that I'm bringing this up? It's because it's happened again. Now, if you might recall from the previous video that I've discussed, I was talking about Hogwarts Legacy a bit and how some people try to sort of gatekeep in a sense. Um, by saying that you're a transphobe if you play Hogwarts Legacy simply because the franchise that got spawned, or the franchise that Hogwarts Legacy is a part of, came from J.K. Rowling, who said some questionable things on Twitter. Now, I might have to go deeper into that because genuinely I don't know enough. Or I don't even know exactly what she said, I just heard rumors. But that's the general consensus, so it makes me a little curious. Um, but it gets me pissed that people, they bark more than they can bite. That's basically what I'm trying to say. What I mean by that is that they talk themselves up like they are, virtuous. Like they have the higher morale than you, but don't do shit about it. Uh, another example, which may or may not be agreeable, I'll admit, is when companies decide to change up their logos. Say for Pride Month, they make their logos an entire rainbow, and like, I appreciate the gesture. I have to give credit for that. But you're a company, like you can take it a step further and contribute. Like, I'm sure some of you have seen the Act Man and his video on Hogwarts Legacy and how he decided to donate $2,000 to a hotline, I believe, that tries to help trans people. And I genuinely think that is a good call. I think that anybody who is willing to be virtuous, show it, but at the same time, that also leads to the discussion that people that show off their actions are trying to appear virtuous, like they're trying to enhance the look of being virtuous. Um, and people can argue that the Ackman was doing that to appear virtuous, but the thing is that he was proving a point. That's what makes him different from the other people. Because he also pointed out somebody that was talking shit about him for buying Hogwarts Legacy and how Ackman fired back saying that he should donate to the trans charity, to which the original dude responded by saying that he was broke. Really? I I refuse to believe that genuinely. Like, for example, earlier this week, as some of you might have seen, I got a tire popped and I had to pay for it up the ass. I'm gonna work more tomorrow for that shit. But even still, I was able to afford it. And I don't see why this guy wouldn't do the same thing. If you're gonna talk so much shit, at least prove a point. At least make your side much stronger by doing something much stronger. Um, so that's one of the main things Hogwarts Legacy, and of course, just in general, the thought of pride. You can absolutely argue with me if you want, but I genuinely feel like the pride community is a bit repressed at the moment, and it's a big shame because some of my friends are actually in that community, and I've felt this way also in high school, but some of these people are the best ones in your life. Like, they're very vibrant, they're very expressive, and they're also fun to have around no matter how unhinged some of them might be. But at the same time, I myself am very unhinged if you know me personally. Believe you me. Um, but again, I want to loop this back. The holier than thou personality is just the worst. Because if you're gonna talk yourself up, then have a payoff that is going to exceed what you're saying. Not meet, but exceed. Because otherwise it's just gonna be really pathetic. Genuinely. Like, I say pathetic a lot. I feel like I've said it so many times. But that's just what it ends up being. And this also leads to another thing, which I tried to remember as I was talking. But people that try to expose others. This is more in line with sort of high school drama, I suppose, than actual real newsworthy drama. So like there's a difference. There's people that like to expose others simply for the joy of it and simply because they're trying to point at somebody for the wrong reasons. And then there's people that actually try to hand evidence, they try to support their claims, but are simply basing what they say on the facts and have no bias. You know, people like CoffeeZilla, for example. Some of you might have heard of the Logan Paul, not Logan, yeah, the Logan Paul controversy that's happened fairly recently. Like, from what I remember, it was research that took place over the course of a year, and Coffee decided to work on this stuff and provide a video that, from what I've heard, has pretty tangible evidence. And he got met with a lawsuit that has since then been dismissed, I think, or at least it's no longer going to be you know, put through, which is good because lawsuits are no joke from what I've seen, and I'm glad that I don't have to experience that myself, at least not yet. But that's also another thing. People that try to force others' hands with lawsuits are also pathetic because they're trying to strong arm somebody into silence. And you know, there's some things that might be disagreeable, but generally speaking, I think you can say your own opinions as much as you want. But there's people like Logan Paul, or at least formerly, and then there's Billy Mitchell. I'm surprised that he still has the power to do lawsuits. I don't know why that there hasn't been a clause or anything that takes that power away, because genuinely it can ruin people's lives, and it's no joke. It's how Carl Jobs said, everybody loses in a lawsuit because it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, and ultimately it's for something really petty that shouldn't have happened to begin with. But yeah, that's also another point. Just trying to expose people either like just for clout, really, like just for the attention. It's like, oh, I'm such a great person just because I exposed this person. Fuck off. You're not doing it for the right reasons. You're not trying to like have this person give a revolutionary change to themselves. You're just doing it for the attention. And honestly, that's just the worst thing that anybody can do anything for, the attention. And to be fair, it can be a little difficult to try to distinguish between people doing it for attention or people doing it for other reasons. And for example, I've slowed down a bit in drawing and other stuff. Just I've wanted to take my time. I didn't want to institutionalize my art in the sense that I have to force myself, because that doesn't feel right. I just want to do it when I want to and just enjoy myself, indulge in it. But generally I just want to do it because I want to treat it as a passion whenever I get the juices flowing, you know? But it also, in talks of attention though, it does sadden me that people and also companies follow trends. You know, like after TikTok became widely popular, Instagram decided to introduce Reels, and YouTube had Shorts. I still think that it's stupid that companies are trying to challenge each other instead of just having a niche thing. Even though it might work for some, you know, like YouTube live streams their work, even though Twitch is a bit better at them, because Twitch live streams are only saved for about a week from what I recall, and YouTube there, especially now, you can separate between what a live stream was and what a generic video is, or generic relative to the channel. But then there's, you know, other people copying ideas, because it's kind of a business these days, which is saddening to see. Like, eventually everything becomes generic, and I don't like that at all. Which is also why I got happy when I saw that Instagram is focusing more on photos again rather than reels. So that proves to me that we're trying to be ourselves again. You know, we're gonna pick up that traction again, which I genuinely like. Not to say that it should benefit me, because I don't feel like I'm as active in reels as as active in photos as I used to be in terms of actually drawing. But also, like, my social media presence, at least now, isn't really my main focus. It's more in the focus of the friends that I have in college, the people I'm with personally, and that's really the main thing that's driving me right now. It's not necessarily social media. It's gonna be something that I'm gonna have to touch back on, because social media was my main focus in my junior and my senior year for certain reasons. But right now, I don't think that, and I don't think really anybody should make social media their priority as much, unless it's genuinely their job to do so, or they turn it into their job. That's also why, even if I become successful in the future, not saying that I ever will, even though I'm not planning for it, but even if I am here on social media, I'm still going to be working a 9 to 5, because it's the safest option for me. Even if some things that happen in my media results into certain complications in jobs that I can have. But I don't think that's going to happen. At least hopefully it doesn't happen. But yeah, again, just content becomes incredibly generic, much like that's pretty much how trends are. You know, you have action movie trends, you have slow motion breaching scenes and shooters and games, you know, a bunch of other shit, and it just becomes boring as a result. Like, some creators, and I'm sure most of you will agree, some creators do it because they have to in order to grow, and that's the disappointing part. Like, you can't, in a world that's institutionalized, you can't be original to be successful necessarily, unless people are genuinely tired of it, and very rarely are people tired of it. So yeah, that's just another coin in the bucket, I guess. And just one more point to finish off, because I'm reaching about like 12 minutes. So yeah. Also, let me know if you guys like to just hear my input on certain things, or if you want me to put my input in other stuff. I don't want to handle topics that are too controversial, you know, like, yeah, I'm not gonna mention them either, but I'm sure if you know, you know, I guess. Just anything other than that, because I just like to set up the camera after I do homework or have a long drive from work or school and just talk for a good 10 minutes or so. It again, it gets the juices flowing. So yeah, I might start drawing, or I might just go back into this, because I'm genuinely having a good amount of fun reading that, even though it's literally fucking numbers on half of the pages. But yeah, I'll do that, and I gotta get ready for work, because that pop tire, I wasn't kidding, it's not gonna pay itself. I mean, I already paid for it, but I need to recover it. So yeah, I'll see everybody around. And given that we only have 7 days, not 7, 5 days, enjoy the rest of February.